Alright guys, and welcome back. My name is Luke G from MTG with Luke G. This is the second installment. This is blue for the new set that is called Dark Ascension, and it is a set that's in the same block as Innistrad. Now the set is smaller. It is got 158 cards. That's why there are not as many great cards for drafting. There is some pretty cool cards for constructed that you will see, but we're talking about drafting right now because this weekend is pre-release weekend. I'm just going to jump straight into it, not do some crazy intro or anything like that. I'm going to jump straight into this first card because I know you guys are anxious to get out there and draft, and you're telling yourself right now, Luke, just shut up and tell me the good cards so I know what to go play so I can win some points and win some cards. Here we are. The first card here is Call to the Kindred. Now it's an interesting card. It's 4 for an enchantment. Enchant creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top 5 cards of your library. If you do, you may put a creature card that shares a creature type with enchanted creature from among them onto the battlefield. Then you may put the rest of those cards in the bottom of your library. Now it's interesting because if you have a flavor deck, if you have a tribal deck, you say you get a lot of zombies, say you get a lot of wizards, say you get a lot of spirits, whatever. It's a good addition for this type of deck. This type of card, you would only probably play a 1 of or a 2 of. You're probably only going to get 2 at the most, maybe just 1. But this card is interesting. I definitely would try and find a space for it. Now it doesn't have double blue or triple blue or anything like that, so it's decent because it could be a splashed card as well. Typically a splash card is something that you'd want to maybe have an amazing card to splash for, because this isn't an amazing card, but it is decent, and I do like it. Now the next card here is a little tricky on the wording here, but I am happy to see some more counter cards that are being released. Blue's been kind of lacking on counter cards. Now this isn't really something you probably see in constructed, but you never know. Check it out. For 4 mana, instant, obviously, because it's a counter spell, counter target spell, you may cast a non-land card in your hand that shares a card type with the spell without paying its mana cost. Now a card type for people that don't know would be instant, sorcery, enchantment, creature, whatever. Now, let's say that it is your turn, and they cast a flash creature, and you counter it. Then you can put a creature from your hand into play without paying the mana cost. Now, the thing that's tricky about this is that what if it's his turn? Are you able, and he casts a creature, and you counter it, are you able to put a creature into play? Because you're not typically allowed to put a creature into play on his turn. Doesn't really say, like, you know, that you can automatically play that card. Now, look it up, guys. That'll be your question of the day. Look it up online. Maybe some of you might know a little bit more than me on that aspect of the game, but it's looking a little weird in the wording there too. Tell me what you think, and let's move to the next card. Curse of Echoes. Now this card sounds very interesting. We've seen a lot of these curse cards lately. I really like this one in particular. It's 5 for a rare, enchant player. Now, whenever enchanted player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player, not including him, may copy that spell and may choose new targets for that spell. That's awesome, guys. That is a really good card. Say he casts a spell that makes him draw two cards. You copy it, now you draw 2 cards. That's a sweet card. I would splash that into a deck. Maybe even my favorite card in the set. I mean, I like it. It's awesome. It is a little pricey for 5 mana. You could also have multiple of these into a deck too. You could, I wouldn't probably go too crazy. At the most, I'd probably have 2 in my deck. I wouldn't go 3 or 4 or anything like that crazy, even if I got 4 of them. Because typically in drafting, you're not going to see a lot of instants or sorceries, but it is nice to have, and it really makes them think twice on any cards that they may cast. And if you got that reference, good job. Alright. Divination is the next card. 3 for sorcery. The only part I don't like about it, draw 2 cards. Not bad. Card advantage. Also, Curse of Echoes back there would play a cool part into that too. You'd be able to draw 2 cards. Now check out the next one. We got Dungeon Geist. 4 for a 3/3 flyer. Not bad so far. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as he is in play. Now, or as long as you control him. Now, he can be in play and they don't control him, then he would lose that ability. But it's not a bad card. I mean, It's removal, essentially. You can tap a creature, you knock a blocker out of the way, and it's 4 for a 3/3 flyer. Flyers are always awesome. You guys know me. I love my flyers. Not a bad card at all. Next card, Riptide. Now it's common, so you're going to see a lot of these. 4, instant. Put target creature on top of its owner's library. Now it isn't removal to the sense that it's going to destroy a creature or remove it and never come back type thing, but it does slow down your opponent, and it does kind of buy you some time to put some creatures and some threats into play. Not a bad card. Next, Haven Gull. And now this is 4 for a 2/2. You tap 2, you tap him, and you tap 3, sorry, and then you exile a creature card from your graveyard and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter on each zombie creature you control. Now, automatically, this creature is going to be a 3/3 zombie. Now he's going to get even bigger for each time you do this, and if you have a lot of zombies in your deck, let's say you have the Call of the Kindred over there with that enchantment over there with this right here, they'll work pretty nice together. You keep putting zombies into play, keep exiling cards, zombies keep getting bigger. Not a bad addition. I like it. It's not amazing. It does cost a 2 double blue. Probably only played one of these in my deck. Next, Increasing Confusion. Now, typically I don't like cards like this that mill your opponent in drafting. I like to go for substance. I like to go for creatures. I like to go for removal cards, draw cards, bomb cards. This is none of those cards, but it's not bad. Check it out. 1 blue and X, so you can do as much as you want. It's got a fireball effect on it. Sorcery. Ouch. Don't like that so far. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If Increasing Confusion was cast from the graveyard, which is the exact same mana cost, that player puts twice that many cards in his or her graveyard instead. Now, this is a nice late game card, especially if you cast it and then the next turn cast it back. Let's say you cast it for, let's just go crazy and say 8 late game, okay? So boom, he puts 8 cards from the top of his library. Now late game he's probably only going to have about 30 cards left, even less, 25 cards left, or less than that. So take away 8 from there. The next turn you get to do 16, but you get an extra land into play, right? Because you have that turn. Let's say you put another land into play. The next turn it's going to be 18. You're going to be doing it for 18 next turn. That's huge. You're going to mill this guy for the rest of his deck. That's half his deck right there. You get something like this late game, you pretty much put a clock on this guy and you say, you know what, you have 2 turns to really do something. It's a very interesting card. I don't think it's like one of those crazy awesome cards, but definitely look into it. If you get one, it's definitely a one-off drop. I wouldn't be, getting crazy amounts of these because you still want substance and still want strength to your deck, but this is definitely a card to look out for. Alright, and the last 3 cards I want to talk about here is these 3 right here. Once again, we have some more flyers and some more draw card advantage. Check it out. Niblis of the Breath. It's 3 for a 2/1 flyer. I'm liking that. Tap 1 blue and tap him. You may tap or untap target creature. You don't typically see this very often out of blue. There are some like wizard cards that have this kind of effect on it. Usually it's a white card ability. Not to be racist or anything like that, but this is pretty nice for this card. I do like it. It is an uncommon. You're probably going to see 2, maybe 3 at the most, depending on the quality of players that you're playing with, but definitely a nice card. It puts some control on the field and lets you swing through. You could say, pass, it's your turn. He goes to attack. No, I tap your creature. Back to my turn. Boom, I'm through for 2 damage. So it's not too bad. Put some control on the board. Next card here, we have Stormbound Geist, 3 for a 2/2 flyer. He can't block. He can only block creatures with flying. This happens a lot with flyers, but usually that means they have a good ability. Here's the ability right here. It's a new ability that's being introduced into the set. It's called Undying. When this creature dies, if it had no 1/1 counters on it, which he wouldn't have, return it to the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. So Okay, he's an early flyer, which is good. Let's say he dies, he comes back as a 3/3 flyer. Not a bad card because it's a common. Now this is uncommon or a rare, it would not be as good, but it's a common, so you're going to see it more often. Next card here. We have a new card that is going to be probably seen constructed. 1. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, draw a card. It's not an amazing card, but it is some draw advantage and it does filter your deck out. Now I'm not saying if you get 5 of these you should play all 5 of them, or 4 of these, or 3 of these, maybe 1 or 2, but it's definitely a nice card. Just want to go ahead and thank everybody for watching. Again, the next color will be black. Don't forget to subscribe, favorite, like, all that stuff if you do like these videos. Tell your friends about them. I'm going to pump out these videos as quick as possible, and like I said, the next color will be black. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm Luke G, and I'll see you later.